everyone. Welcome to TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. Now, some of you might know him as Rafael. Others know him as Ralph. So welcome, Ralph Santiago, to Wellness Wednesday.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we are so excited to have you and just all the things that you are doing in the community. So let's jump right in. For our viewers around the world, tell them about your background and all the amazing things that you are doing as it relates to COVID-19.
Well, background, that can go real far, so I'm not going to go too far, right? COVID-19, I began my journey attacking that animal, right, in November of last year when the position was available with the CDC Foundation. And ever since then, we have been working as a team. There's about 4 of us on the team. And as outreach workers, we pretty much go into the community and communicate with the local organizations, whether they be 501c3s or companies that can use the benefits of the public health when it talks about vaccines and the knowledge that we have surrounding COVID-19. So there's been numerous amount of vaccine events, public health information that's been poured out into the community. I directly have been blessed to communicate with majority of the Latino population in the southeastern region of Tennessee, and also assist my colleagues in any communication with Latino organizations that they are working with during those vaccine events.
Absolutely. I love it. Now, how do you balance that? So, I mean, you have your personal life, family and friends who may have been impacted, plus what you're doing in the community. What does balance look like in the world of Ralph?
I got 4 kids. That's tough to answer.
Okay, you have to tell me the ages because I have
Yeah.
4 children as well. So
Okay.
you got to go there first.
I've been married for now going on 14 years.
Yes.
14? I hope she didn't hear
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
I don't know if it's 14. We've been married for that long, and we have a 12-year-old. His name is Jariah. I have a 10-year-old. Her name is Shia. I have a 5-year-old. Her name is Livia. And I have a 4-year-old, and his name is Levi. And they all are completely different. So
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Yes.
So
Now,
balancing that, when everything hit, it was an interesting era. We had to embrace the idea that our kids will remember this time. And to be honest, I want to touch on the positive, the fact that we were able to spend every day together. Now it got a little stressful and it was different because I wasn't out and about at a job, and I didn't have to come home after work. Everything was done at home. It was virtual. And I realized after about a year, the quality time that we were spent together was so priceless. And I think a lot of families just focused on the negative when we were complaining before that we didn't spend enough time with our family, but now we're forced to, right? I think it was the forced idea. Like nobody wants to be forced to do it, but we definitely, I mean, in these 2 years, we've seen each other grow. And I say each other because they've seen us grow. I've seen them grow. I had a lot of memories with them. So it's been special. It's been difficult. It's been special. But also in our family, balancing was tough because we lost 5 members of our family to COVID. And communicating that information to my children was difficult. Not being able to see the family members, go to funerals. Everything was different. In America, our idea after death is to see everyone, visit, communicate, but we weren't able to do any of those things. So especially in my culture as a Latino, funerals are big, they're important. That was difficult. Balancing it, I think that I live in a community that there's so much up and down. There's so many things that have. I'm just gonna be real. Some people believe in it, some people don't, right?
Yeah.
And living in that kind of a community, you have to learn how to balance those people out, you know. And but I think by being in a family that was affected so much, we understood that it was very important, right? And that it was real. So I communicated with my children and my family about this real thing that's happening, right? And how we're gonna embrace it and consistently, you know, make sure that we don't underestimate, right? So that's pretty much it, you know.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely is. You know, a lot when you do, you know, think about it. Because I have 4 children as well, and I would agree with you. You spent more time. Now mine are a little bit older. I've got 28, 21, 20, and 13.
Woo,
but I definitely,
wow.
I know, right?
So you can teach me something.
So here's a question for you today. This is April 6th, 2022. What are you most looking forward to when we think about spring? We're kind of in spring, but spring and summer. I mean, we've been in this thing for a while, but what are you looking forward to?
I'd like to see some more family members that I haven't seen in 3 years, right? I do believe in still being careful, right? We have to be wise, and being wise means sometimes doing things that you may not want to do, right? Or having to do things that you need to do, but you still don't want to do that, you know? So traveling, if I'm going to be going to a real populated community, I may not want to do that with all 4 of my kids, you know? But I look forward in more face-to-face contact with my family, but in a wise way, you know. We've been invited to go to Disney World. I'm not going, right? I'm not going to take my kids to Disney World. So, but definitely getting out, you know, a little bit more. I do think it's important to also understand that there, even though I had a great time with my family, there's been a lot of families that have been depressed and dealing with mental illness because of being held inside of their home for so long. So, yeah, I want to, in a careful manner, take my family out. We got some plans on doing some visits to some parts of the country and stuff like that, but locally, and just keep it us, you know.
Absolutely. What is the message that communities need to know about right now? I mean, you've been doing vaccination events, lots of education, but for our viewers, they're watching from literally everywhere. What is the one message that you want to get out to the community as it relates to COVID-19 right now?
That's a good question. That's a dangerous question to answer, right? So my message, and I like to be 100% real as much as I can, right? I think because of my background, what I've worked in the past, safety is huge for me. When my kids go outside the door, I'm thinking safety. Are you going to get in the car at the time that I need you to get in the car? Are you going to walk into the street? Are you going to close the door correctly? Do you have your seatbelt on, right? And I think a lot of us, we have the typical safety practice of putting our seatbelt on, right? We have the typical safety of locking our doors when we come inside of our homes. But when it comes to public health, those safety parameters are not as important sometimes because 2020 was a different year for everybody. And everyone was so used to going anywhere at whatever time with whoever they wanted for as long as they wanted, right?
Yeah.
So because those things change, I encourage, and my message would be, think about the safety of your loved ones first,
Yeah.
and think about the safety of those outside of your family and your friends who are desiring to be safe also, right? The vaccine was a huge message that a lot of people wanted to accept or just kind of pick apart, right? And we've seen the positive view on how the vaccine has helped, right? And we're going to get a lot of negativity that comes with the package, right? But if we focus on safety, if we understand that there were people who lost their lives, there were families who lost loved ones. I particularly know of a family who lost their daughter in one day, right? Or 2 days, after COVID, so this is real stuff, and we can find all kinds of ways to avoid it or to become over zealous of it. But the reality is that it exists, and we must use safety, the safety parameters that have been put out there to help with our current situation. So
Absolutely.
that's my encouragement. That's my message, that safety is important. We all put our wallets inside of our pocket, right? We don't have our credit cards as an ID on our chest because we want to protect our financial future, right? Well, our financial future is nothing if we don't have health, and health is important.
Absolutely. So, okay, this is year 2022. Now, 10 years from now, we're going to look back, and I want to know what you want to be remembered for as it relates to what you have done on the front lines, because you have been truly on the front lines. But when we say, who was Ralph Santiago? How do you want people to remember you?
Oh, wow. I feel that I've been on the front lines for most of my career. Right? My first career out of college was a child abuse investigator. So we were on the front line of any abuse happening within domestic community. So being in front of the front line is not new to me. In terms of COVID, right, being on the front line, I feel that being awarded the position to work directly with the Latino population, I noticed that there was a lack of knowledge because of a language barrier, because of a culture difference, and being able to bridge that was very rewarding to me. Obviously we get paid for our position, but the reward of someone being able to say, I can get vaccinated even though I'm not an American citizen, right? Some of them were excited about that. Some of them were afraid to approach anything that had to do with government. Also, outside of the Latino perimeters, just to be able to communicate with different churches and organizations and say, listen, our government is providing this, how can we come together regardless of who thinks what, and provide this opportunity for those who want it. Being that bridge is something that I'd be remembered for. And sometimes being that bridge was hard. Sometimes being that bridge was not accepted. But regardless of that, I believe that my team at the CDC Foundation was able to save lives. Whether we don't know who those people were, we don't know who those families were, we did it. And regardless of their names, we know that we saved lives. So that's important to me.
Powerful, powerful. I mean, you said it right there, right? We know that we saved lives. That's such a powerful message. Listen, how can people get in touch with you and find just connect with you if they want to? You have website, social media handles. How can we find you?
Email. I won't get my personal number on the phone, right? But my email, it's really the CDC Foundation. So the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, has an offset kind of non-for-profit sector, which is called the CDC Foundation. And also communicating with my supervisor, Miss Lisa Walker, and then my Department of Health supervisor, Miss Elizabeth Hart, who's been, one of our direct contacts with the Department of Health in Tennessee, and we've been working under her and her direction since we've been hired. So, but my email is real simple. It's Santiago, and it's RSANTIAGO @cdcfoundation.org. And you can communicate. You can any questions, any concerns, any ideas. Because I don't foresee myself to always be the best thinker, right? I mean, I have some of my ideas come from other people's ideas. So if you have any ideas on how we can bridge the gap between different communities, I think that's important. So
absolutely. Well, the final question of the day, and I could really talk to you forever, right? Because I can tell your passion, and I know all the amazing things that you've done. But this is an easy question. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers? Anything at all?
Yes. On the side of what I do with the CDC Foundation, I am a USA Boxing coach, and I was just elected as our local boxing committee president, and I believe in pouring as much as we can into our youth, because after we're gone, they're going to run this world, right? And if we desire them to be more successful than what we were, we have to try our best to pour in to all those pockets of life that they're gonna face when they get older. And I just encourage, I mean, even when it comes to public health, I'll share this. My dad, when I was a kid, kept on saying, stop eating candy, right? I don't want you to suffer from diabetes like I do. Things like that. Pouring to our kids the need for a good education, pouring into them the need to desire good jobs and get paid well, to be successful, whatever successful means in their lives. Because just because I've told my youngsters in the gym, I said, listen, just because you drive a BMW doesn't make you successful. Just because you have the newest fashion doesn't make you the coolest person on earth.
That's right.
If you want to be a garbage man, you can do that and be successful, So
That's right.
I think that pour into our youth and do it selfishly, and know that we don't have much time on this earth. Our lives are short.
Oh, yeah.
We can do our best for those who are coming behind us. Then we can leave, we can leave a path. I mean, we can look at our leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and these guys led a path, and they died young. Yeah. But their path was led, and people came right behind that. So, yeah, that's my message. And pour into the youth.
I love it. You heard it first from Ralph Santiago. Pour into the youth. Thank you so much for being here on today's episode. Man, you're awesome. Just thank you for all that you're doing, and especially for serving youth. Now, for our viewers around the world, I invite you to join me back next Wednesday for TNCEAL Wellness Wednesdays. You won't want to miss an episode. Now, be sure to share this message. I want you to like, share, follow, comment, repost, do whatever you do, but let's help get this interview with Mr. Ralph Santiago out around the world. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and share this message for your community. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.